Everybody ready? All right. We will call the agenda meeting Wednesday, May 4th at noon to order. Before we start, I just want to take 2 points of kind of personal privilege here. The first is that last week was Administrative Professionals Week, and I failed to mention it in the agenda, but I wanted to thank all the administrative professionals that we have in the building and that help every day. And that work at the different offices and the utilities that we do. They play an incredibly important function, and at some point they help us make us look good, and sometimes we make them look bad. But that's the way it normally goes. So I apologize for neglecting it, but I want to acknowledge that. The second is we had some pretty monumental events happen on Sunday, and it just reminded me that. Wanted to thank all those that are serving in the military, what a sacrifice they make and what a great job they do, both on a full and part-time basis, including people in the agency, including Commissioner Jarrett. I think that we all got a reminder on Sunday evening how important their jobs are. So I just wanted to take a second to personally thank them, and I think that goes for everyone in the agency.
Here,
so,
here.
Thank you for that. All right, we will move on to the first order of business, which is approval of the minutes. It was a very long agenda, and I want to make sure that there are a couple of dissents, and I want to make sure those are all as agreed to at the time. So any corrections or changes to the minutes?
These look good to me.
All right. All those in favor of approving the minutes for Wednesday, April 27th, 2011, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, the minutes are approved. All right, tariff and new orders. SU 2011-0289, Timber Creek Sewer Company, order regarding application for an accounting authority order. This is a request for an accounting authority order to preserve rate case expense. We have 2 options, Judge Steerley. The first is granting the AAO, and the second option is denying the AAO in a nutshell. We've got a couple notations. Commissioner Clayton.
You can remove my question mark on option 2.
Commissioner Davis.
Option 1.
Commissioner Jarrett.
Yes, I am option 1 as well. I think that option 2 would allow prudently incurred expenses not to be recovered.
Commissioner Kenny.
Option 2. It's on you, man.
Oh, I know. I appreciate it.
I did not see any reason to deviate from the normal practice. They'll be able to recover their rate cases in the ordinary way, rate case expense in the ordinary fashion.
I think AAOs have a place, but I think that they are for extraordinary expenses. I think these are normal expenses that should be handled in a rate case, and we can do it. I mean, I think we have the order that they asked for their rate case expenses up through February, and they received it. So I'm in favor of the order. Option 2. So we should do this probably as amended.
Yes.
Option 2. All right. All those in favor of the order regarding application for an accounting authority option as amended, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
We will note that as approved 3-2. With 1 vote. We didn't have to do it again. So, all right. Tariff and new orders, HR 2011-0241, Veolia Energy, Kansas City Incorporated, order suspending tariff, notice of contested case and order delegating authority. There are no notations. I would note that this order is going to be accompanied by a procedural order. This is the order of suspending tariff, notice of contested case, order delegating authority. But one of the things that we've all talked about is putting in procedural orders which set discovery schedules and cutoff and times in order to remove discovery disputes. That will accompany this. We'll hopefully see what a case looks like when we start putting in some standards and doing it.
Has that already been
Has not.
drafted?
Well, I don't know that it's been drafted. We have some model orders out there, but it hasn't.
Yes, there are some templates. I adapted those
to this, the procedure that we've been working on would begin scheduling with the 60-day notice of intent. This was assigned to me after the filing of the rate action itself. So it's taken some adjustment to kind of compress.
Just to clarify, we've been working on a modified rate case timeline that is shorter.
Right.
This uses some procedural stuff that this doesn't really fit in. So this doesn't do anything to shorten the timeline, but it will have some of the same procedural stuff.
Do we have a copy of it? I mean, can we see it? I mean, and then the reason I'm asking is I'm curious what deadlines does it set? Does it set specific deadlines for when discovery is cut off? And does it say that if you fail to raise objections by this date, they're forever waived? Or, I mean, what does it look like and what does it have in it and what?
You just circulate your draft order.
Well, I've got Judge Steerley's templated order. Mark,
You don't have to do it now.
Okay. Yeah, when you before you send it out, make sure, give people a chance to take a look at it. That's the only issue.
Sure.
Commissioners.
You're talking about the templated orders.
Talking about the procedural order that you're going to issue in this case.
Yes, sir.
Which sets up those timelines.
Yes, sir.
Before you issue it, circulate it to the commissioners.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And they might have suggestions for you about other suggestions.
The schedule has already issued, conditioned on the suspension of this. I will certainly send around that.
We can modify it if we need to.
Oh, yes.
So are we talking about the same thing? The schedule that normally goes out when we suspend a tariff separate from a procedural order? Are we talking about two different things or are we talking about the same thing?
What's before you is the order suspending the tariff.
Right.
We're talking about the procedural schedule, which I have drafted separately.
Okay. That will accompany this order.
That will become effective when you suspend the tariff.
So I guess that's what I'd like to see.
Absolutely.
All right. All those in favor of the order suspending tariff, notice of contested case, and order delegating authority, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. It's approved 5-0. Thank you. All right. Geo 2003-0506, Laclede Gas.
I thought you were kidding.
Order regarding status report and directed filing. Judge DePel. This is Laclede Gas's unprotected steel main replacement program. They've replaced, I guess, in 2010 about 11,000 feet. They have about 40,000 left. Is that correct?
Yes.
Commissioner Clayton, you have a question?
You can remove my question mark. I went back and reviewed the docket on this, especially at a time when we're looking at gas safety. I think one area where we could possibly improve, or at least consider improving our safety performances on accelerating some of these main replacement programs. I think Laclede has made significant steps towards removing the unprotected steel mains from their systems. There's still some time left to go. I have voted against just accepting these things just to try to push these things along. So I'm going to be a no to be consistent with my other 15 dissents in this file. So if you want to read them, you can look at them, but I'm not going to write another one. So that's all.
Well, we can see the light at the end of the tunnel with getting all these things pushed through, and we certainly encourage them to try to replace as much as they possibly can, although the requirement is 10,000 feet a year. So, all those in favor, any other questions or comments?
I just want to say that it looks like they have kicked it up a little bit in fiscal year 2010. They did 11,000, which is, certainly the highest amount that they've done in the last 8 years. And I think maybe that's partially due to hopefully they'll have more resources now that I think their cast iron main program is complete. And so, looks like we're less than 4 years away from completion. So optimistic about that, what they've done.
Any other questions or comments? All right. All those in favor of the order regarding status report and directed filing, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Approved 4-1. File number AX 2011-0007, order dismissing motion for proposed rulemaking. Judge Woodruff, there are no questions on the slip. This is essentially, they've mooted out the motion.
Correct.
Because instead of the discrete three issues that public counsel wanted us to take a look at, we have revised the entire chapter to make it more consistent. And I think we've addressed the three issues that they wanted addressed anyway. So, any questions or comments?
Well, I guess I would note that Representative Holzman, in one of his early incarnations of House Bill 613, would have, in essence, had the utilities making what I would call reverse payday loans, and that utilities would have been required to make loans to consumers without any credit history or anything. So that's gone away, but I just thought it was interesting and wanted to point out the irony there.
Anything else? All those in favor of the order dismissing motion for proposed rulemaking, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed?
I'm sorry, aye.
Order is approved, 5-0. ER 2011-0317, Amber, Missouri, order approving interim rates. This is a fuel adjustment order, and there's actually a decrease from the current rates to the proposed rates for certain classes of customer. Any questions or comments? And I think we agreed that we would treat these like PGA, where we would discuss and withdraw them and order them by delegation. So is any question there? All right, we'll note that as discussed and withdrawn, and we will issue that order by delegation. I'm going to skip down to item 7, which is the TW Telecom, or file number TT 2011-0362, TW Telecom of Kansas City LLC, order suspending tariff. I see new comments, and other than creative use of lowercase, doesn't appear to be other issues.
I don't press the buttons.
Sir, just to clarify, the use of lowercase
Is the company's name, right? So I think that's very creative.
E. Cummings would be proud.
Yeah, exactly. There are no notations. Any questions or comments about the order? All those in favor of the order suspending tariff, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that order is approved. 5-0. All right, Judge Chappelle, why don't you come on up? Tariff new order ER 2010-0356, KCP&L Greater Missouri Operations Company report and order, better known as GMO. This is the GMO portion. I guess the latest version was last night, although there's
And I've got just
two quick corrections.
Yeah, since that version.
Okay.
Why don't you go ahead and
On page 90, I believe it's still on page 90. Up at the top, in the language that I inserted there, I would insert a few more words here, so that's beginning the sentence that begins in addition. The decision to include Crossroads in the generation fleet, insert at an appropriate value, was prudent.
okay.
And then on page 159, in the decisions section of the off-system sales, I missed getting that whole sentence in there that I was adding. So the sentence should read, the company's method of calculating the OSS using the test year 2009 data is adopted.
All right, everybody get those changes?
Otherwise, it's the same as when you last saw it at 3:30 yesterday.
3:30 yesterday, so, all right. This is a very long order, appreciate the hard work. This puts if we adopt this today, it puts a period on the compliance plan, period, as well as IATN 2. And so this is a lot of work. This is what, a 220-page order around there, 221. So appreciate everybody's work on this and getting it right. But we'll go around. Any questions or comments?
You can remove my question mark. I've had an opportunity to review the report in order. The last agenda, I raised some concerns with a number of issues that go to the opposite way in this report in order, namely the legacy asset Crossroads that has been passed down from the prior utilities ownership. I also raised concerns with the fuel adjustment clause. Having said that, I think the ultimate conclusion of the order, however, is reasonable, and while I disagree on certain components of it, I feel comfortable enough to support the report in order.
I think it's fair, and the good news is we're done with the regulatory plan, and IATN 2 is in service and going to be generating electricity for a long time, get some rates. And the Crossroads is, we'll probably be revisiting Crossroads transmission expenses in future rate cases, I would assume. But it is what it is, and I think it's a reasonable outcome. So I'm good.
I'm supportive of the order. I think from a regulatory standpoint, this order coupled with the KCP&L order reissued earlier gives some consistency on a lot of the common issues between the two companies, which is always good, I think. And I think it's a good and fair order, and I support it.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to add except thanks to Judge DePell and Judge Pridgeon for their hard work. I'm supportive of the order, and all of you for your hard work.
This was a long case, and I appreciate everybody's willingness to talk about it in a constructive manner and resolving a lot of these issues. So, all right, all those in favor of the report order ER 2010-0356, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? All right, the order is approved. Thanks, Judge. All right, I put the Ameren, Missouri case on as case discussion. Judge, why don't you come on up? ER 2011-0028. We don't really need to get into a lot of substantive stuff because the hearing is still going on. But I wanted to give an opportunity to see if there are any issues that we need to be worried about or tee up for discussion here.
Well, right now we're in the fuel adjustment clause issues. We'll come back to be Mark Burke for Ameren. Then we've got several other witnesses today on fuel adjustment clause issues. One thing I wanted to make sure everyone was aware of, it came up this morning. Kip Smith, is on the list for at the end of the day on Thursday, and his MIATS that he be moved to the first of the hearing on Friday. So that's when we'll be seeing him.
Are there any other? I know that at the beginning of the hearing there were some other adjustments to the schedule, moving some things around, not having a hearing on Friday and moving all of that.
That should all be taken care of. We will have a hearing on Friday now.
So we have a hearing on Friday.
We've got solar rebates and LED lighting on Friday.
And then next week we have 2 days scheduled.
We only have 1 day scheduled,
Okay.
although I don't think they'll do it in 1 day, but we'll see. Tuesdays, the union issues to start off, and then rate design, class cost of service.
Monday's a holiday. I forgot.
Monday is a holiday. And
God bless you.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday are reserved, but they're not anything scheduled.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions for the judge? And we will have.
I do. But go ahead.
1 second. Because the good thing about this case is I don't think it'll take nearly as long to write as we don't have nearly as many issues as in KCP&L, both the GMO and Kansas City Power and Light Park. So there's going to be plenty of time for full and fair discussion on the issues. There are less issues. I did have a quick question about whether or not have they talked about, or do we have STIPs on any of the issues that were on the issue list? I know there were STIPs supposedly circulating on things that were not on the issue list, but what about ones that were on the issue list?
A STIP was in fact filed yesterday on some of the issues, but there's not been any issues, that those were all issues that were not on the issues list.
Okay.
And I've seen no indication that there's going to be any STIPs on the issues that are on the
That
issues.
actually have gone to hearing.
Right.
Okay. Commissioner Kenny, sorry about that.
No, that's okay. Judge, on Monday, I asked for the parties to file, or asked for Ameren to file the notices that were sent out to the parties to the consent judgment in advance, and I don't see that that has yet been filed.
Okay.
And I can do this in the hearing room, or I can do it now. I don't know that it matters. But I am going to ask Laura Wolf questions regarding DNR's position relative to the Tomsock issues. She's scheduled to testify on Thursday with respect to DSM issues, and she wasn't present on Monday to testify on Tomsock issues. So I'm going to take the opportunity to ask her some questions, and so the parties can be prepared.
Okay. Do you want to say something when you get down there again today, or should I?
If you think it's appropriate, I mean, I don't know. I suspect everybody. I'm sure they're probably listening anyway. But I mean, I can say it again if you want.
I think that'd be appropriate.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions or comments for the judge?
Mr. Chairman, not in regard to this case, but in the EO 2011, I want to say it's 0128 case, that's the Ameren MISO docket that is coming up. Just, I wanted to let everybody know that I'm working on an order directing filing to ask Ameren to respond to some questions about capacity market, the effect that will have.
And speaking of that, they're coming in to talk about the capacity market next on the 18th, May 18th. MISO's coming in. So there are a couple of those things that I'll get into when we get to scheduling upcoming issues, but that's one of them. It's going to be outside of agenda because they wanted 2 hours to do a presentation, but they are coming in to talk about the capacity market and hopefully answer any questions. So, but I think your filing, the order is absolutely appropriate. I just wanted to say that there may be another opportunity at least
Right.
to talk to them about.
And the main thing is, I want to put them on the record I want responses from both Ameren and from MISO. We spend enormous amount of time and resources developing these integrated resource planning rules, and I'm concerned that with the capacity market, they're all going to get mooted out.
Well, that's the very point that they will address when they come in on May 18th, because that's a concern that OMS has expressed, that this encroaches on state authority traditional state authority to conduct resource planning, and so that's a specific issue that I think they'll be prepared to address on the 18th.
But if you want to get information beforehand and think it's appropriate, well, let's wrap this up for Morris, and then we'll talk about some other scheduling stuff because there's a related item that I'm working on a plan for. So, any other questions for the judge on the current Ameren rate case? All right, Judge. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, now we'll go to commission scheduling matters. While we're talking about it, one of the other things, I talked to Adam McKinney this morning, and we're working on a plan, and I don't know what it's going to be yet, of dealing with information, both getting information, getting responses, and figuring out about Ameren or about Entergy, SPP, and MISO, because I think that's got implications for us. We may ultimately decide, because we have interests in both, that we stay out of it, but I want everybody to be informed about what's going on, what are the potential consequences. So there's been nothing, we've just kind of said we need to figure out what our plan is going to be for dealing with that, and so that is being developed, and we'll come back and talk to everybody about and present it and get input from everybody if they think that's a good idea or not. So we'll hopefully have an idea of how we're going to do it. But I think it could have major implications for a lot of things. And we want to have the opportunity for everybody to be able to ask questions and be informed and have the right filings, and including potentially, intervening at FERC and all the other fun stuff that comes with it. So that's on there. I think I'm going to ask on the 11th. It appears that there might still be the hearing going on, so I'm tentatively going to set that at noon again for the Ameren hearings on the 11th. Everybody okay with that? The 18th, tentatively have it set at 9:30. I may need to ask everybody's indulgence to play with that time a little bit, but we'll give everybody a chance.
When will the MISO presentation be?
It's on the 18th in the afternoon. What time, Judge?
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock.
And we're nailing it down. As soon as they're coming in on the 18th for sure.
Well, they've got flights to get back to, so it's by 1 o'clock. I tried at 1:30.
And I
may not be there.
I wanted it outside of agenda because it's just a lot of time, and we've got stuff to do, and we need to make sure that we have plenty of time for our stuff. So,
well, let me make one other point about that, because I mean the plan at this time is to not just. I think Ameren's going to be invited to come to that as well, but the other transmission owning entities that are within our state that aren't necessarily regulated will also be invited to participate, because obviously capacity markets impact all the TOs that are in MISO, so they will also be invited to attend. I think the plan is to do it in the ballroom.
If we invited the municipals?
That's okay. What I'm talking about.
I know that, some of you may be following what's happening in New Jersey, and I'm not exactly the person who's most well versed to speak about it, so if I get this wrong, forgive me, because I might, but it's my understanding that there are municipals who built generation, but because that generation is expensive and it exceeded the rate, FERC will not allow them to count that generation. So even though the fact that they own this generation, they are still required to go out and buy energy in the capacity market on top of the generation that they have already built, even though they haven't more than adequate reserve margin, it's my understanding. So, this is...
And that's because of how the PJM capacity market is designed.
Right.
Yeah. I just would caution everybody not to, jump to any conclusions about the comparison between what MISO's, because to their credit, they have taken stakeholder input into account, and I don't think that we're going to wind up with the same type of market that PJM has, because the concerns that you're expressing, I think, are peculiar to how PJM's market is designed, and very quickly I will start speaking above my pay grades. I'll stop, but I think this presentation that we're going to get should be helpful in helping us to understand how this potential market is designed, and if we ultimately do need to participate in FERC, what stance we need to take one way or the other.
all right. The Empire is starting. For some reason, I don't know exactly what day it's starting. I'm trying to confirm on that. I think it's the 13th, but or the 13th is
Of what?
We'll confirm that, and we'll.
Oh, I thought it was
the 16th.
16th. So I think it starts the 16th, but there's a discovery conference, and
That's what I have on the
so
16th.
So that the Wednesday the 18th, we might have to figure that out, play with it, and then how long it goes.
I would think we got a week break in there, but
Terry.
Yeah, that's why. It's
Terry.
A few days off.
Oh.
And there's from the 23rd through the 2nd.
Oh.
And then
Okay,
true up
so it
does
is the
start that
23rd.
following
23rd.
okay. So the true up and the hearings are very close together on this. So it's the 23rd.
Yes.
12th. All right, so the 25th will probably be at noon as we're going through that. The 9th is a holiday, remind everybody on that. So if anybody has any issues with that, we'll figure it out. By that time, hopefully the phone bridge will be normal and all that good stuff. Any other scheduling matters anybody else wants to bring up? Okay. Legislation, week and a half, see what happens. I think at this point, no one knows what next is going to happen. Like you're saying with budget, our budget, we think we know where they're going, but we just don't know yet. We may have RFPs back, we may not. It may just be a transfer of money. It's whatever the conference committee and governor decides to sign, we'll implement. Then for other, I wanted to.
I don't know what the final status of it is, but I guess I heard that there was a significant amount of energy efficiency money that was, I guess, flowing through the DNR, that weatherization has been.
$14 million.
$14 million
Right.
has been.
One of the things that actually might generate jobs and help put people
Whack.
So we have the second, then we'll move on to other, and then we can be done. This is the second edition of the PSC Connection. I wanted to show you the rejected cover that we had initially put out, but that was determined not to do it. But this is one of the things we're doing. Once we're
Yeah, that's, I'm gonna put this on my wall.
Frame that, yeah.
This is basically it's in a couple different areas. Is that it talks about how and what resources generate electricity. It talks about how rates are set, and then talks about budget billing. Those are the three main areas. So one of the goals of this is that we will put the individual articles in a resource library on the website, and I think the rate making one is going to be important for folks, as well as the budget billing, things we can hand out at events and local public hearings and things like that. So I think it looks good. We're about ready to go to the printer.
Hey, are we keeping track of our distribution? Like how many people this gets distributed to?
Well, to the extent that you can. I don't know that they have exact numbers when they take it to a fair or a local public hearing and they have people pull it off.
Right now, the first one, basically, they were being shipped to like community action agencies, so they were shipped in bulk, and we didn't have necessarily a mailing list. I think we send one to the usual suspects who sign up for notices on our on our EFIS system. I think they receive something because you can kick out those relatively easy.
Are we sending it electronically?
I think it's available electronically. I don't know.
Yeah, I've pulled it off.
Mm-hmm.
I don't always have a hard copy laying around, but I've pulled it off the internet and referred to the gas safety article.
And then in the library, so it should be as a full document, it should be available on our website. And then each individual article should be in the library as a standalone article that they can print out. So it should be available on a couple different ways. So you don't have to search through each publication in order to find it. So, all right, that's all on the agenda. Anybody have any other closing remarks? All right, if there's nothing else, we will stand adjourned.
May the force be with you.
Thank you.
Force be with you. What PowerPoint is that?
Joplin. So Terry, this was the original.